All right, look, we've spent plenty of time talking about passports, exotic places, and the best ways to get lost.
Mostly because Jim actually got us lost half the time.
Hey, it's called unplanned exploration. But look, eventually every traveler has to hit the baggage. And that's usually where the fun ends and reality hits you smack in the face.
I'm Chuck Longerbeam.
And I'm Jim Hauck. We're both staring 60 in the face. And we've realized that the most important journey isn't across the ocean. It's the one where you finally stop worrying about who you're offending and start speaking your truth.
We're unpacking more than just suitcases now. We're talking about the big pivots, reinventing your life and your career at an age when society thinks we should just be quiet and pick up pickleball.
Not happening.
So your current business, you have a wine bar, which is probably one of the coolest things I've ever heard. My wife listens to this podcast and she'll be like, wine bar? But
Yeah.
So how are you seeing right now? I know there's, and I'm not being political at the moment. I will be in a moment. But right now it's, with the economy or more importantly, the perceptions of the economy, are you seeing your business slow down? Are you insulated because people like to drink when things are bad? Or how does this go?
There is that. People will drink and it's also social environment, right? It's really important for people to go out and have like those social environments. And a wine bar is just a little step different from just like, a dive bar or a regular bar, if you will. So it's, it's a tough gauge right now. I would say that we're the new kid on the block up here. So it's like there's an interest in just us being in business and coming and checking out, which for having customers come in for that could just say something about the economy right there for here. I feel like you asked me about like, do we feel isolated? I feel a little different. Like business mentality and people here are very split. There's more speckling. When I was in Santa Cruz County, it was like pretty predominant that you were just on one side of the fence. So here it's
very
like
liberal
speckled a little
in
bit
that
more.
area.
Yeah.
You get up into the mountains of California, people start to get a little more conservative.
They can, yeah. When they talk about the blue and the red, and they talk about the purple. Yeah.
Okay.
So our business itself goes through a seasonality anyways. And so having had our grand opening just December 5th, we came in there and like towards the end of summer and saw some of the business, but it's most recently, I would say there isn't much conversation about other things than just general life stuff. So
Gotcha.
not so much into the politics. So maybe sometimes people feel that that's like, a place to escape it too sometimes.
Well, I know Jim and I, please.
I was just
go
saying,
ahead.
when you go to a bar, you do tend to get people talking, right? The more they
Yeah.
drink, and they do tend to talk on either current events or town events or
Right.
something local, right? Especially in the case of where you're in more of a local establishment. And I think, for you, Chuck, to understand that they have, it's a cute little place that they had down in Capitola. I've seen pictures of the new place, very similar vibe and aesthetic.
Yeah.
And it is the kind of place you walk in where there's a couple couches, maybe there's some chairs and high tops, there's a bar, but it's meant to get people to talk, right? And that's one thing that I think she's great to talk here today, because she's probably hearing things, right? She can tell you like sentiment and such, but it's a fun experience. If any of you wish to go to Murphy's, you can reach out to me as a travel agent, and I will get you there. And I bet you I can get you a deal on your first round of drinks with the sommelier.
I mean, I knew the shameless plug was coming. That's beautiful.
Right. Yeah.
Well, one of the other reasons I was asking you about that is because Jim and I both ran into the same problem. And when the economy gets bad or the perception of the economy is bad, one of the first things that people stop doing is spending money on entertainment or big entertainment. Like coming to a wine bar, that's one thing. That's an afternoon, that's an evening, that's not, well, it's not going to break the bank necessarily, but going on a $4,000 or $5,000 trip, well, that's the first thing that's the first thing that constricts and contracts. So we've been struggling with that. He and I've talked about that. We've been struggling with that. It's just, people aren't spending that kind of money right now, which is fine. It is, well, it's not fine, but it is what it is. And the economy's always got ebbs and flows, but
Right.
yeah, we've been talking about that. And I don't think the current administration is helping that at all, but that's as far as I'll go with that at the moment. There's a lot of concerns and fears about higher prices and tariffs and all that crazy stuff. So.
This is true.